As It Were production presents.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca and Joe. My name's Joe Lynch.
I'm Becca Howard, and Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas, or whatever holiday that you celebrate around this time.
Happy
Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa, all of it. This is the movie show for movie lovers, by movie lovers, where each week we come up with a theme. We each pick a movie, possibly at random, one that we don't know. We then go to the couch, watch the movie, come back, talk about it, and decide if we've made another killer date night double feature. And this week, we actually thought, since it is the holidays, we decided to do things a little, ready, against type.
Callback.
It's a little bit of a callback. There's so many movies out there that we have on our kind of cachet list, and I'm sure you guys do too. All the greats like Elf and Die Hard, Polar Express, Eyes Wide Shut. Those are just some of the movies that we like to watch every year. But sometimes there's a few that are a bit of a discovery. And what better way than to give the gift of sharing movies than to decide on two movies that each of us haven't seen yet. Well, how are you doing?
I was wondering how long you was going to go before taking even a breath.
The usual spiel.
Yeah, but my throat does really hurt. I have the seasonal symptoms. It is a good time for you to be verbose.
I will be more verbose than usual if it will help your throat.
No.
Sure.
He's more.
What?
This can be a
3-hour. This can be a 3-hour show. Come on.
So yeah, Secret Santa is the theme that we've decided to go for, celebrating. I believe this comes out the week of Christmas, the 6 days before. So hopefully these will be Secret Santas for you as well, so you can introduce them into your new roster. Mm-hmm. The film I went with was a French movie.
Okay.
I mean, it's your basic run-of-the-mill French murder mystery musical comedy with lesbians.
You lost me at French, to be honest.
A François Ozon movie from 2002 qui s'appelle 8 femmes or 8 women, starring Catherine Deneuve, Daniel Dario, Fanny Ardant, a whole beautiful roster of classic French actresses of multiple generations who are in a beautiful Circaean country home the week of the holidays, only to have a murder interrupt their festivities.
A murder.
If you like Knives Out, it's rather like that, I guess, but with more lesbianism and Frenchness.
Check and check. I have not seen it, so I'm very excited.
I know. Secret
it was funny because when we go on our
theme.
walks, she was like, "Have you ever seen any French musical murder mysteries?"
As a queer person who's a big fan of watching beautiful women make out, this has always been a fun one for me to watch every year.
Well, a movie that I know that you haven't seen because I put my feelers out there, since one of the writers is synonymous with Christmas movies. Were you going to say something?
No, never mind. Carry on.
Okay. Well,
for a second, I thought I knew what it was going to be, but no. Let's see.
You probably do, because this is a Shane Black movie.
Oh, then I do know. We've talked about this every year.
Okay. Well, a movie that's kind of fallen in between the cracks over the years, because everyone knows Shane Black from Lethal Weapon and Long Kiss. Damn it. But another Christmas movie that a lot of people don't talk about is the Rennie Harlin helmed The Long Kiss Goodnight with Gina Davis and Sam Jackson. It's one of those movies that I remember seeing as a kid. It was on my roster a little more when in my burgeoning 90s era, but we haven't watched it.
That's how come I knew what he was talking about straight away, because every year you tell me we have to watch it, and every year I say yes.
And then we never do.
And then for some reason it always falls. But it's a busy time. We rewatch The Nice Guys more readily every year.
Because it's a great movie.
It's 1 month to cram in so much good shit.
And what better way to do that than to have our own show that forces us to have to watch these movies for you, for us, for each other.
Oui, or should I say, oui femme.
Ooh, and I've never seen a French lesbian murder mystery musical, so I feel like that's going to enrich my life.
I hope so.
You know what else will enrich your life? DIABOLIKDVD.com for all those last-minute gifts that you need for all of your physical media fans out there that are just craving for something in the stocking that's actually tangible. DIABOLIKDVD.com has you covered. So,
is that a diabolic DVD in your stocking, or are you just happy to see me?
But for now, the couch.
And now it's A Couple of Old Fashions with Becca and Joe. This week's episode, Secret Santa. Ho, ho, ho.
And we're back, and ho, ho, holy crap, what a double.
I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure because we are a couple drinks in, but I'm pretty sure we didn't actually mention in our intro the order that we decided to watch them in.
Oh, shit.
We decided to start with We Femme, or 8 Women, to use its, English translation, just because that's a bit more of a fun, frothy, delightful, like candy cane, simple syrup infused confectionery, whereas The Long Kiss Goodnight is more of your warm the cockles, straight up bourbon on ice.
Yes.
So that's kind of the trajectory we went with. Let's start by, I guess, discussing.
I'm very excited to talk about this because I will be honest, I was a little skeptical at first.
In the dead of winter, trapped by a vicious storm, a wealthy estate will come alive with murder. Critics are calling 8 Women this fall's giddiest cinematic treat with a mischievous sense of fun. Catherine Deneuve, Isabelle Huppert, Emmanuel Béard, Virginie Ledoyen, and Fanny Ardant. 8 Women, rated R.
It's so hard not to watch this movie with that little like silly smile on your face. I think the whole time it's just so yummy.
It's not what I expected at all. I did not expect to see Douglas Sirk's Clue, basically.
Well, it starts with a very Douglas Sirk, for anyone who doesn't know, was a German filmmaker who famously worked in America after fleeing Germany during World War II throughout the 40s, but I guess he's most famous for his 50s Technicolor melodrama movies that are very intensely about the aesthetic and the darkness that the beauty on the surface covers up. This whole film is referencing 1950s American like colored melodramas.
Melodrama.
It starts with these beautiful curtains and this pink Sirkian writing over the top, and it reminds me most of the opening credits to Douglas Sirk movie Imitation of Life.
Oh, you showed that to me. Not that I wasn't a big Sirk fan. The only Sirk reference that I knew was when, what was it, the Douglas Sirk steak in Pulp Fiction, where it's like bloody as hell. I'm like, oh man, does that mean that Sirk movies are bloody? No, it's that it is colorful, vibrant.
Unless we talk about the blood pounding in our minds and loins as we get into his ness.
His ness.
I just love Douglas Sirk so much.
I'm glad that you showed me that because it allowed me to immediately appreciate what is it Ozon?
Ozon,
okay.
Yeah, what he's doing here, and that's very. Roger Ebert actually said the same thing when he reviewed the movie when it came out in 2002. Was that it was very much a treat for cinema fans in particular because of the amount of references. And Imitation of Life, I brought up in particular because it kind of sets us up for the movie in that this whole film is somewhat of an imitation of real women, real life. Like the whole thing is absurdist, turned up to like hyper real 11 cartoonish reality. Like a carnival mirror reflection of real people and real life.
Well, everything feels like from outside. The only thing that's kind of real in the first shot is the deer that's out there eating, but you can almost feel that someone is right off camera going, eat the foliage, you deer. Immediately, I thought of Wait Until Dark because it feels very staged.
Thick snow-covered ground and a deer, very All That Heaven Allows, another Douglas Sirk movie. And then we see this like 20-year-old, the older daughter is coming home for the holidays. So they say, Joyeux Noël, and like, bon vacances, like straight away, it's like, it's Christmas. It uses the Christmas aesthetic to kind of talk once again into what I think the theme of the film is, which is very like the surface appearance of things, the candy-coated color that we try to infuse into our lives so we don't have to look too deeply beneath the surface. And that's very true of like Sirkian movies, a lot of the famous sort of 1950s American movies that he's referencing. But in America in the 1950s, the reason why they often did that is because latter-day Hays Code, which was on the way out, was starting to get challenged, but it was still there. They couldn't have overtly gay characters, or if you had it, it was like that was what the movie was about. You couldn't just have like a family
Like if it would have to have like an agenda.
It would have to be produced by Stanley Kramer. The frothy films would sneak in subversion.
I was going to say, that's the definition of subversion, is to sneak in all of these taboos or all these themes that, you're right, like if you put a microscope to it, you'd be like, oh my God, they're actually speaking of really pertinent themes. But probably at the time, the audience doesn't want to watch a message movie or anything, or be inundated with themes and messages that they don't want.
The ones that are in the audience that are wanting to feel seen or at least reflected in some way, it's still there for them, like coded. So if you know, you know. This film kind of takes that to like a modern, postmodern, I don't know, extreme, but where that ends up becoming the point where the subtext is text.
Yeah.
So you have it be this hyper realized version of all these people looking at each other and in the mirror and all these colorful surfaces,
and even
see that
the
reflected.
audience at one point.
Yeah, no, for sure. A couple times they break the fourth wall, and I mean, even just the fact that they're all dressed in like different colors of the rainbow.
That's another reason why I kept thinking of Clue, because Clue isn't, the Clue, which was based on the game, it was all based on colors. All the characters were based on colors, and the way that Jonathan Lynn staged and costumed everybody, it was reflective of their character. And there's many points in the movie where they are all lined up against each other, and Ozan frames them in ways where it's like you can't not see, especially with like the green wallpaper and the red carpet. Everybody is striking. They're popping out like it's like 3D, but it's also indicative of their characters too.
In the credits, they also reference the 1939 movie, The Women, the famous George Cukor movie that I made you watch because you cannot be my husband.
Made me
without
watch.
seeing Cukor's The Women. Well, I just made sure I made it a priority.
Yeah.
Another film where there's no men in the cast. The women each have like an animal represent them in the title card, and in this it's all flowers that are in bloom, and they are very much look like female genitalia. I don't think that's like me reading into it in like a wanton lesbian tone. Like they look like Georgia O'Keeffe paintings. Like they're very, it's a thing. Catherine Deneuve leads the cast. Danielle Darrieux, Fanny Ardant, like all these women they bring that baggage like family members who bring baggage to the home for the holidays. They're helping to inundate this film with all those classic references, even as it's questioning it.
I kept thinking, what if someone did an entire movie where you took all the famous femme fatales in French cinema and put them all in one room?
Yeah.
What would happen?
Not far off.
Yeah.
In the beginning as well, I thought it was very striking that all of the shots were very like plateau, tableau style shots. Again, kind of reminded me of classic studio movie making where they would have a lot of the dynamics initially set up. Again, well, that was also because I guess, cameras were very heavy, whether that was in the 30s or like the 50s with the CinemaScope lenses.
Couldn't do a lot of dynamic moves, no steady cam shots.
And what you ended up getting with a lot of that was just these amazing kind of almost play-like feelings of character dynamics appearing before your eyes very organically. But she comes out to greet her sister, and I was automatically like in love with their dynamic because I miss my sister a lot.
Oh, they're spinning around the columns and they're being like 13 again.
And just as I thought like, oh, it's like high society between Grace Kelly and her sister, and that's when we discover it's also a musical. That boppity bop, like
all of a sudden they start breaking into song, and Becca goes like, by the way, it's a musical. Like I completely forgot, but it's the way he stages it too. That, I mean, there's even points where someone goes, when you're done with your song, let's get back to the plot.
Yeah. So all the women get to have a song throughout the film, and they all are stylized to like the same way their clothes and appearances are hyper stylized. All the songs are like hyper stylized for them. Like Isabelle Huppert, who's fantastic.
Oh my God, she's so good.
So funny.
Out of everybody in the cast, she's having a fucking blast.
She makes me laugh so much. And she's playing the Catherine Deneuve's baby sister, who's like the aunt, but she's like the miserly aunt who's like, oh, mais non, oh. And it's funny, when she first came down the stairs, she's wearing like a tight dress robe, like tightly covering her body, and like glasses.
All
and
it takes is the glasses. It's the she's all that moment.
Because Joe didn't recognize you there, and when I mentioned it, he was like, what? And I was like,
the second she took the glasses off, I'm like, oh!
And we all
I did the
joke
Leonardo
about,
DiCaprio
like,
thing.
Clark Kent, but sometimes a thick pair of lenses really
All it
does
takes.
mask. When she has her song, it's like at the piano, and she sings very like a spoken word, very French.
At
like,
first, it was just,
sad.
spoken word. Then she gets up and starts to belt.
What I love is that like it's like every single one of these 8 women get a moment to be the movie star and have this movie be their movie, and everyone else is supporting them. And it feels just like how in each of our own minds, we're all the star of our own lives, our own movies, and everyone is supporting us. At least that's how we should feel.
Yeah. The Marcel, who is the one.
Yes, we forgot the main plot.
See, I'm trying to bring it back.
I know. I just love, because it's not, the plot is like so
It's secondary,
irrelevant.
but
like it's about just the vibe. Marcel is the patriarch of the family, and he is discovered.
Well, the way they even describe it, it's like there's blood everywhere. There's a knife in his back, and like immediately you go, "Holy shit!"
And they have like one of those great zooms in, which was very not 50s cinema, but
No.
still enjoyed it a lot. Because again, it's like
He's having fun.
Yeah.
That is like from that moment on, I was in.
Yeah, 'cause
it
the
took me a
whole movie
little
is about
bit to
fun.
kind of get into the groove of it. I wasn't quite sure what the tone was. But the second that you hear the scream in the room and everybody runs up and bursts in the door and the snap zoom into a bloody knife in the back of some old guy, you just go, okay, where is this going to go from here?
like we'll discuss in the Long Kiss Goodnight, like there's crime, murder, craziness, but it's fun comedy.
One of the gratifying things that I had with this movie was that you think about the first 5-10 minutes of the movie and you think you have everybody figured out. By the end of the movie, none of it was right.
No, it's almost like, it's farcical the way there's switches on switches. And the 2 sisters have a little little dance together in their bedroom. And it reminded me of Les Demoiselles de Rochefort, which is a Jacques Demy movie from the 60s that is highly referencing all the Gene Kelly kind of musicals from the 1950s. And it's almost like it's a 3rd generation copy of a fun. Like it's taking all of these years of codification and queer reading that we like get to have watching these movies in retrospect, and like I was saying at the beginning, brings the subtext to the surface in really gratifying ways.
What I didn't expect was how everyone is kind of hot for each other in certain respects.
Yeah. It does build slowly. Danielle Darieux, who's the matriarch, so she just rises from her wheelchair and is like, oh, it's a Christmas miracle.
Which everyone you just kind of forget, and then when she turns around and goes, oh, hey, and then just runs back up again.
Every time any of the other women becomes like overcome with emotions, they also land in the wheelchair, which I thought was funny.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
almost like their emotions are what make them invalids.
She runs in, she's like, the phone line is cut.
Da, da, da.
Yeah, there's a lot of dun 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 moments in this.
Well, you don't want some usually male detective coming in and like questioning everything, and that's not what this movie's about. It's about the dynamics of this family and the dynamics of these women in particular, and how they are interrogating themselves as they question one another. And as the suspicions start to arise more and more between all these women, you get less of those kind of wide plateau shots and a lot more of these like very, very close close-ups that like separate them all very obviously in their own frames.
Yeah, Ozon keeps the close-up coverage built until like the back half of the movie.
Yeah,
whereas the first half, there's a separation, if anything. It took me a little while to agree with like this was a good Christmas movie, because where else do you get the opportunity to bring all of these different characters together? Some people who are forced to be there, like some of the help, some of the Marcel's sister, like why else would she be coming? There's a reason why the girls would be coming home from school, like there's no other reason but then the murder is what propels the peeling back of the curtain on
Yeah.
everybody. So if you don't have those two like crucial components, you don't have the movie.
That's when they also start to like bring the audience subtly into the film as one of the women themselves. Like the shot of when they first see the 8th woman in the garden, and it's all through the window.
That was
another,
great.
like 4th wall or 3rd screen or whatever you want to call it. And they all like lean down at the same time.
Yeah.
So when it racks focus to the window, it's like on their boobs, which I thought was funny, like racking on the racks. The whole generational element of these women, like even referencing, as I did earlier, like the young women of Rochefort, les demoiselles de Rochefort, the 2 stars of that are Danielle Darrieux and Catherine Deneuve. So it's like they're much younger. Like we're almost doomed to repeat ourselves, but it's not even in a bad way. It's just in a, like how the older sister, we find out pregnant out of wedlock, and her mom gets really pissed at her even though she was also pregnant out of wedlock, and it's almost like she sees her daughter replicating the same mistakes that she made, and it makes her feel old. We're big fans of seeing the evolution of cinema and how we reference or homage, but then you hear about some of these older directors watching those movies, like Hitchcock talking about De Palma's obsession in particular.
It's not homage, it's fromage.
This film is very much about that, about the cyclical nature of art and ourselves, whether that's why older filmmakers get angry about, because for them it's like they're seeing themselves reflected in a younger filmmaker's work and it makes them feel old.
It makes them feel old, and there is this theory that like no filmmaker is relevant past 60. And when they hit that point, they're going, well, now I'm not going to get called, or I'm not going to be able to get the financing for these movies or whatever. That's why I'm really chafing over the idea that people start like veteran filmmaker Joe Lynch. I'm like, no, hold on, please.
Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes, I'm still up and oh God, getting gray just thinking about it. But I do agree that I think that it dates them a little bit.
Chantal, who's played by Richard, the black maid in the movie. It's
Who's
revealed,
so good.
She's so good. And it's revealed that she's gay and has been having an affair with Adorn's character. And she goes to like the kitchen. She's the only one who has like a solo in trying to, pretend that we're not alone in life. We go to the cinema. Right after that gets shot for knowing too much. Although it turned out she's okay. But like...
Dramatic either way.
It was
great.
But it was almost like, as a gay black maid, was she shot out of the film for knowing too much or for saying too much?
Maybe both.
You were saying at the time very Vertigo-esque in that we have a portrait on the wall of a young Catherine Deneuve. All the colors are very reminiscent of Vertigo, and as we discussed on our previous episode, Vertigo is all about how when we look at the surface of things, it shapes our entire personality, our experience of the world, our experience of the other people we come across in the world, and it can completely betray our actual senses of self.
The second she pulls the little the hairband off and pushes her hair back and everything, and it's perfectly coiffed and bottle blonded and everything, it's like, whew, like hooba dooba. But then the movie kind of goes into overdrive where Deneuve's character, in trying to shut up Mammy, just casually grabs a bottle, smashes it over her head, and throws her into the fucking closet.
Yeah, well, she's singing, it's almost like a reference to 23 Quai de Commerce of Jean Diamant movie, where she's talking about how, like, day-to-day mundane hatred we can have for a significant other that we don't love. Who doesn't do anything bad, who is always, as she called him, a gentleman, like a gentleman, and she hates him almost more for it because he never does anything horrible to her to justify her feelings of resentment.
She can't pin the blame on any specific thing.
So that's why she gets hysterical, because she's guilty over having, it turns out, murdered him in a fit of desperation.
Is that a spoiler?
Did we not do a spoiler? I think we were in spoiler territory for a while.
Spoiler alert.
One of the things that I was happily surprised about is that usually in the murder mystery movies like this, they wait for the very end to do all of the deliberation, right? And when Mammy says that, I didn't think it was true at first, but I'm like, oh, no, that's true. And this is like 20, 25 minutes before the movie's over. And she's like, I did it.
Catherine Deneuve is shoving the old lady version of herself away, like out of sight, out of mind. Where the younger girls are even saying like, oh my God, are we like doomed to become like the other generation before us?
And considering that you have so many generations that are reflections of the one before them.
Both cinematically and for these women, it's like, are we our own person at all?
Do you think that that's also because Marcel, I think, doesn't one of the characters even say like he just wants the younger version?
I mean, something that I find disgusting is the idea that men get better with age and women past the age of menopause are ugly old bags that like have no sex life anymore.
Good genes.
And I do love that there are like themes around seduction and like loving, like right before the climax of the movie, Adorn and Deneuve start making out on the ground and their bodies.
Well, it starts out where they're just fighting each other, but it's that very like almost Russ Meyer-esque like shake booby shake, and then
it's so wonderful to watch.
And then everybody else walks in.
I know, but it's almost because these women are interrogating one another through the judgment of their own gaze, but via the guise of a plot that is also referencing these other films that they're being reflected copies of. And in the same moment, Isabelle Huppert is disgusted with her reflection, so she makeovers herself to be beautiful, and all the other women congratulate her. It's this idea where people talk about beauty coming from the inside out, and this movie almost subverts that, where it's saying like, actually, I think it starts from the outside in almost. Like we have to have fun with our appearances, have fun with being a woman and with being beautiful. And with all these women kind of falling in love with each other, it's almost like they're falling in love with themselves even more.
It's making me really re-reflect on that final shot too.
Yes. Before the older daughter, even when she still thinks that he is her biological father, it turns out that he raped her. And it's the father of the baby that she's currently pregnant with out of wedlock. And so she's having to, another case of the cyclical idea of generationally inherited trauma. It's like this horrible full circle moment where like she's pregnant with the guy that her mother married to cover up the fact that she got pregnant by another guy in order to get with another guy now to cover up the fact that the person that he got pregnant with got her pregnant.
How do you say soap opera in French?
Soap opera.
Yeah, well, because that's what this was. By the end, it was every possible kitchen sink thing that you would hear at the end of a soap opera, all thrown in. I do like, though, in the beginning of the film, how when they were first going, it's murder, and immediately they go, where was the guy? Where was the man? You know, they were like, everyone was looking for where's the male component of this dynamic, and that's probably the one who had the hand on the knife. And then when they started to realize, or at least some of them started to realize that was not the case, men, if anything, were all represented by Marcel in one form or another. He became the representative of the male gaze, toxic masculinity, how men treat women and perceive women. Like he became the icon of shitty men.
And that motivates the final song of the movie, sung by the oldest generation of the women, Danielle Darrieux, which is the song about how there is no such thing as happy love.
Oh, man.
And it's like this bizarrely kind of maudlin final note after such a fun movie where like all these women join like they start dancing slowly together, like slow dancing with one another and looking at each other in the eye. And then they all each turn to the fourth wall, to the third screen, whatever that separates us from them. It's almost like if you're a guy, it's an accusation. But if you're a woman,
I almost expected another hand to come out and grab, like almost as if it was us. Well,
take my hand and then punch you in the dick.
I felt a little vulnerable at that point. I'm sorry.
Sort of like a sweet moment of like sisterhood and solidarity, and maybe that is the only kind of happy love. Maybe sisterhood, or at least loving yourself as a woman. No matter how old you get or how men treat you, maybe you won't let men treat you badly if your love first emanates from yourself.
You're right. It is slightly on the somber end, by the time you get to that final shot.
But I think it's sweet.
It was exactly. It was the right way to let the curtain close on the movie, which I thought was great. The gift that I got out of this movie was that I'm very excited to see more of his work.
Joyeux Noël.
The gift of cinema.
What I love about it the most is that it set me up very well to talk about our next movie because it kind of functioned in a similar kind of cartoonishy, fun, frothy way, but the American version. And we'll be discussing that in our long kiss goodnight right after the break. What's up?
I'm really stressed right now.
You should drink a bourbon.
I can't because I have all these people to get Christmas gifts for, and I just don't know what to get or where to get it.
Joseph, it's like the week before Christmas.
I know. I always wait. I should go at Black Friday, but I don't, and I wait until the last second, and here we are.
God, we have DIABOLIKDVD.com.
We do?
It's the one-stop shopping answer to all of your Christmas presents needs, and it has been for the last 20 years, the home of all horror, cult, weird cinema. It's got every single Blu-ray, DVD, steelbook, every kind of edition you could possibly want, and I know your brothers in particular, big movie fans.
Yes, and you know what my brothers like? They love movies from, Arrow, Synapse, Cauldron Films, Blue Underground, Mondo Macabro, and so many more cool boutique companies from around the world. You know what? That's not a bad idea. But you know what they also like? And you know what I know a lot of you guys like is holiday movies. And we were talking about kind of discoveries, Secret Santa movies that you might not have thought was a Christmas movie, or maybe never saw it before, but we need a recommendation. Well, we got 2 recommendations for you right now. What's yours?
Okay, mine's not so secret. It's a pretty well-known Christmas movie, but it's the Christmas movie, especially within the world of horror, cult, weird cinema, and that is Bob Clark's seminal 1974 classic, Black Christmas.
The best.
It brings me so much joy. I don't have words for how much.
For such a sleazy, mean movie.
Oh, but it's so well made, and it's so perfectly. I've watched it every year since I was a middle schooler and watched it by myself in my bedroom with my lovely cat by my side. Who needs friends and family when you've got the Friends of movies that you get to watch every year? And currently out of stock, actually available in Blu-ray formats, but the one that I really got my eye on, and it says if you look on Diabolik DVD that it's out of stock, but that there's more coming back soon.
Yeah, hook us up, please.
I'm on that waiting list so hard because it's not just the Blu-ray, it's 4K UHD, it's 3 discs festooned with extras, every kind of version or documentary, everything you could possibly want, and beautiful cover art.
A movie that not a lot of people have seen, and we didn't see it until I think it was last year, which was Daryl Duke's The Silent Partner.
Oh, I love that.
Right? It's a movie that went over my head completely. I never even heard of it. And then you have Elliot Gould, Christopher Plummer in one of the most diabolical, diabolical DVD. What? I'm not giving anything away.
Not putting any spoilers in an ad.
No. That's all I'm going to say. But from the first 5 minutes you see him, you're like, that's a sinister as fuck dude.
But Elliot Gould is massively sexy. It's all set in a bank in a mall in Canada at Christmas time.
Also, one of John Candy's first roles. It's all about Elliot Gould plays a bank teller who gets held up by a Santa Claus during Christmas. There's a bank heist, and he finds a loophole in a way where he gets to actually steal some of the money.
And it's very Christmas crime caper.
Yes.
And that is a somewhat underrated subgenre of the holiday classic.
And if you get the beautiful 4K edition of this movie, which looks amazing for an older film like this, you also get a new interview by Elliot Gould, a couple commentaries, and a radio spot. And you know what? Hey, if you get a gift and you're like, meh, and you want to get something a little bit extra for yourself, why not use the promo code ACOF1225 and get 10% off any order $100 or above. That does not include taxes or shipping, but now all of your shopping needs are covered for your friends, for your family, even for yourself. So whether you're looking for that definitive version of rare exports or Wait, what was the movie that you were talking about?
Don't Open Till Christmas.
Don't Open Till Christmas. Can you get that on 4K?
Yeah, Vinegar Syndrome put it out.
Amazing. Diabolik is the owner-operated small business choice that you have been craving.
If you want to look up more of the extras on both of the editions we just described, you visit diabolikdvd.com. That's DIABOLIK DVD.com, or its sister website, cauldronfilms.com. That's with a hyphen in the middle of Cauldron Films.
So again, shop at diabolikdvd.com. Use that promo code. Get yourself some physical media. Merry Christmas, and back to the show.
And now, on with the show.
And we're back.
And we are back. Back in black.
Just point and spray, okay? Run for your life!
Meet the newest team in action. Gina Davis.
Cheers.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Nobody move!
Honk if there's any trouble.
Yeah, so Miss Daisy, I be honking.
The Long Kiss Goodnight. Directed by Rennie Harlan. Rated R.
What's interesting about how when this movie came out, this was 96, everyone post Pulp Fiction was looking for the next Pulp Fiction. Shane Black is like, I'm right here.
Kind of funny you bring that up organically, considering we were just talking about movies and the aesthetic reference versus replica argument of what makes a homage worthwhile.
Or fromage.
When I watch a Shane Black movie, it feels like a Shane Black joint.
Yes.
It's very his own style, his own world, and I had a real fun time with this movie.
I'm glad you did, because again, I've seen this movie before. I saw it with my family when it first came out. The thing that was interesting about that was that he saw the way that I saw something like Black Christmas back in the day, where it's like you can take something that is on paper or in visuals considered like the jolliest time of the year. Everyone's together. It's mistletoe and Christmas trees and snow falling on the ground and Santa and Rudolph, and then something fucks with it.
Yeah.
And then that's where that kind of juxtaposition makes the horror more horrifying and the action more exciting.
Totally.
And Shane's been kind of dining on that for a very long time. You take Jingle Bells, or literally Jingle Bells, and like the sound effect, and have someone pull a gun, and there's something incredibly satisfying about that.
I think it's also like where you have the highs and the lows. That's a matter of life. Often, like the opera of our own, like looking at things, especially in retrospect, we tend to see things as being like, that was my highest point, but then I hit my lowest low, or that was my lowest point just before my highest high. We tend to do that as humans when we make sense of narratives. So using the high of Christmas and juxtaposing it with the low of someone's, like in this movie, Gina Davis plays a woman.
Yeah, we should probably get to the plot.
Yeah, wakes up after how many years? 12?
8 years. No, 8 years. So we start.
Memory.
Yep, we start with Samantha Cain living a normal suburban life.
She
That's
wakes
right.
up with amnesia, 2 months pregnant. That's crazy.
And then she kind of goes about living her life. She's a member of the town, and everything's going great.
So she's a teacher,
Yeah.
which makes no sense because you have to go to like school and shit for that. Like you think someone who had no qualifications, no birth certificate.
Mm-hmm.
There's as many holes in the setup to the plot as there are in her memory.
You know that Shane Black is playing with the conventions, and that's why like plot holes are almost part of the joke. A deer comes out, they smash into the deer, she flies forward, and then the insomnia lifts, and she starts remembering that she was possibly a hitman.
But that whole
Or hitwoman.
car crash and like the absurd nature of it, like how dramatically this isn't like what you tend to see in a deer hit car crash, where it's like it runs across and they're like, oh no, skid. The deer is stuck in that windshield
with the hooves,
and
like
oh my god, it's like the perfect. Because as soon as that scene happened, I'd been a little bit like snarky, being like, "No, how did she become a teacher?
Yeah.
Lots of holes in this problem."
Without your invisible glasses.
Invisible glasses. As soon as that scene happens, and she just wakes up, like brushes it off, and it's like, my memory returns.
Well,
like,
not only does she brush it off, she kills the deer in a very like almost assassination like version. She goes back and she starts to have these memories come back to her, all the sense memory of like, now I can chop really fast and throw a knife. But
then also like dream sequences of her past life where she starts seeing her past self. It was kind of an amazing way to watch the movie, because in 8 Women you always see them confronting their past lives, and then in this, or their past selves and past generations by looking in the mirror. In this, she constantly sees her past self in the mirror. Nothing is like subliminal. Like everything is turned to 11, and like that's the point in both these movies. That's the point, because it's questioning, it's interrogating surface level aesthetic. So with her identity being so wrapped up in everything that she has constructed in this small Christmas postcard perfect town, her like past self starts to like sneak out in like creepy ways.
She even sees her past self, which is named Charlie Baltimore. Meanwhile, we follow Sam Jackson's character, Mitch Hennessy, who is a private dick, a character that he wanted to play and who he still considers one of his best roles.
He's so funny. And the way that Shane Black writes characters, like none of them have holes. Like they're all,
because it's about those characters.
And from the smallest little moment ends up having a callback.
She gets her memory back. Mitch comes to help her because he had some information about the old version of her.
Yeah, he's just looking for a payday, and then accidentally
gets everybody starts finding out. Yeah, so someone sees
the structure of the plot reminded me slightly of like The Omen in a weird way, because like
interesting
the way that she starts to, she leaves her family and starts to unravel the mystery of herself is similar to Gregory Peck's leaving and trying to unravel the mystery of the sun. And anyone who comes out of the woodwork to try and like help her figure that shit out. You're like when Brian Cox comes out
playing another guy that's dealing with someone with amnesia.
When he turns up and he's like, I have answers, you're like, oh, you gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as anyone turns up to try and help her, apart from Sam Jackson, you don't have high hopes. Like similarly to Gregory Peck, I would say, you don't have high hopes for their longevity in the film.
At being a Shane Black movie, there's a lot of cool henchmen with lots of signature scenes.
It's so silly. It's again so cartoonish, like all the violence. And I love that they put her in a red coat so that she could be in a big train scene, and like they'll cut to wide and her stunt double is also in the red coat, so you're just like, there she is. Even you were saying, I'm pretty sure the stunt doubles are like throwing themselves closer to like the bombs. The point is that
it's cartoons, it's Looney Tunes.
Exactly.
Now, okay, so this is a hot take that I wanted to save until we could actually talk about it. I think this is a woefully miscast movie in terms of director. Now, give me a moment here. He's a great action director. I don't think, sorry Rennie if you're watching this, I don't think he can handle the dialogue and the Shane Black tone. The way there's only one true good director of Shane Black scripts, and that's Shane Black.
But I quite like Rennie Harlin's the verbosity with which he brings to his own, like the muscularity and over the topness of his directorial style.
There's a playfulness that Black brings to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and,
but I think
and the Nice Guys
is retained in this. Like,
I don't think so. I don't agree. Yeah.
Like when she throws her daughter out the window. And it's so
ridiculous,
a doll. Yeah. Like it wasn't like, oh, I hope she's okay. Shit, it's like, ha ha ha.
I've seen.
Like, of course, they'll cut from the doll being like, woo, and then they'll cut to the kid being like.
I think Rennie Harlin is great at shocking, bigger than life action scenes. Some of which, unfortunately, in this movie, do not hold up well in terms of VFX. Some of the VFX are a little wonk at this point. But I don't know. I the whole time I kept thinking, what would have Tony Scott done with this? Or I would love to see a remake of this from Shane Black.
I mean, I probably ought to credit Black more for this creative torture device, but the wheelbarrow. It's not a wheelbarrow. What's that called? The water.
Water mill
thing.
Yeah.
She is tortured by being strung up on the thing and then like spun around, which is funny because, you know, also we get Gina Davis, prime Gina, in like a white teddy drenched to the bone with like her guns. Oh, I love that she looks like a proper badass. The whole, like, she's got thick guns. Yeah. Speaking of guns, in that same scene, Brian Cox's body is like, he's been killed.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
She takes a gun that he had. It's clearly like so
from his pants,
waterlogged gun. And she's just like, she uses it to It's so silly, but whatever. It's fine. It gets her out of there.
I'm glad you brought that up because, again, I think all the charms of this movie are all coming from the script. There's so many callbacks. There's so many little things that they're set up in the beginning that all come back that make me smile from a story point more than an execution point.
The choice to put Gina Davis, once she goes from Samantha to full Charlie, she has this little makeover. They escape. She manages the great shot where she rescues Hennessy and he's in the basement and he looks up the stairs and she's like white back, just like full superhero bitch. And then they've been having this really cute chemistry the whole time, which, you know, you wouldn't necessarily pair Gina Davis and Sam Jackson together. They're like an unlikely couple, but I actually like super.
They have great chemistry.
They really do. I like
all the scenes in the
car,
all the scenes in the car, which. Funny enough, like it was written for a white guy. And when Sam Jackson reached out because he wanted to be in a Shane Black movie, we reached out and they said, oh, it's somebody else. Sam Jackson ran into Gina Davis at a Christmas party and said, like, I really want to be in this movie. And Gina Davis said, sure, why not?
For me, something got irrevocably lost once she regains her full faculties, memories, and she is 100% Charlie.
Yeah.
She has like a little makeover montage moment and oh my God, does she look bad.
Definite 90s sexy vibe that did not age well.
Because Gina Davis, her beauty, like she's got a very, very pronounced facial feature. It's very extreme.
Yeah.
But what works great is that the rest of her look is very Girl Next Door. So she's like Girl Next Door meets like editorial supermodel. Like that's her whole vibe. And so when they then give her an editorial makeover and make everything else about her crazy extreme, like pale pink lipstick and like pale skin and like super smoky eye, one that would take like days. Like, and then she's just like closes the mirror, opens it. I wish you could do that in real life and be like, fabulous. But like she does it in like seconds. She tries to seduce Sam Jackson and I was waiting for this moment, this whole movie, but by the time it finally comes, I was like, like their chemistry was when she was Samantha.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the point, like it's almost like in 8 Women, it's the idea that our past lives are best left in the past, like how we change. Interesting that the amnesia is 8 years, because isn't it said that every 7 to 8 years we're basically an entirely different person? So it's kind of playing on that idea in a very literal, hyperbolic, cinematic kind of way about how when we are different people, we shouldn't fetishize. The movie's almost saying to let sleeping dogs lie in a way and be present with ourselves and excited about who we are in the moment.
I remember when the movie came out, there was a lot of hoopla over one line. Do you know what that line is? Suck my dick.
Every one of you bastards.
Yep.
I love that.
Oh, I loved it too, but there was a little bit of hoopla when it came out. It's like, can a woman say that?
She's doing it saving her daughter too. So the fact that she says suck my dick, like the eminence of semen.
I felt like it was completely earned, and what was great about that was, you know, Black was known as very much an alpha male writer. He always knew how to write guys. It was guy talk. And this was the first time that it was him kind of subverting that, except for any of the times when it's with like Mitch exclusively or Greg Bierko, who plays Timothy.
Is that the guy that is assigned to kill her?
Yes.
Okay, so it's revealed
Who's
that
always got something smarmy to say with a smirk.
Very like bro-y. And like it's revealed that
very
like
Harvard
the entire spy agency wanted her to die.
Yeah.
And they've hired this dude to kill her like a few times, and he keeps hiring him, and it's like, all right, fool you once, shame on him. Fool you twice. Like, why do they keep hiring the same? He's clearly really bad at his job.
He didn't do it the first fucking time,
and also failed 2 other times, and he's still at a certain point, I was like, he's going to get fired, right?
I think the way that they get around that is like they've already set up that Charlie Baltimore is one of the most lethal assassins out there,
I know,
right?
But you'd think men
And then he just keeps
failing upwards from 1996, given that there's a lot of male language coming out of Gina Davis's character, is one of the sort of things that's not hugely addressed, but like the idea of female bodies being hijacked by pregnancy. It turns out that is a part of 8 Women as well.
Yeah.
Like Charlie keeps saying, like, I didn't choose to keep the baby. Samantha chose that.
Yeah.
And that's such a fucking trip. Like to think about it that way, and that she has to rediscover her bond, her blood bond with her own daughter. That other asshole guy that's been trying to kill her, he's the dad.
Yep.
Because she was trying to seduce him to kill him, and that's how she got pregnant with his kid. So,
and he's such a dick to the little kid too.
Yeah, I know. Men.
Yeah.
These 2 movies make men look not great. Fact that they call back the scene where they're ice skating and Gina Davis yells at her daughter because her daughter
Suck it up.
falls over. Yeah, and she's just like, don't be a fucking baby. Get the fuck up.
Yeah.
Full circle, or shall I say full pirouette.
Oh, wow.
Because the moment comes back and the daughter is saying to Gina, no, Mom, don't be a fucking baby, get the fuck up. And that moment actually like moved me. I was very happy that all came back to the emotional baggage of how we feel about this woman and her daughter. He doesn't let her be the hot woman saying male shit like vibes that like it could have easily been.
Another
Crazy.
movie just like Die Hard with a Vengeance with Sam Jackson that's at the New York Canadian border.
Yeah.
Really well used and a huge explosions.
Yes,
Well
the
done.
violence has full circle moments where this one guy gets caught on Christmas lights and hangs himself in the Christmas lights, and you're just like, oh, that was just a cool little set piece, I guess. But then she uses his body to like springboard herself.
That was awesome.
On the Christmas lights to save her kid and kill the evil guy in a helicopter, and finally kill him.
It takes a huge explosion to finally get rid of Timothy.
Finally kill him off.
And then they live happily ever
Yes.
after.
At the moment where Sam Jackson could just fuck off, and part of me is like, I would probably have done that, but
Yeah.
he instead puts his life in the line of fire, literally, to save her daughter. And she's far away, she can't go in there, but he can. But she has a scope that she uses,
that was
and a
great.
walkie-talkie to like tell him where the bad guy. It's almost like one of those couple trust exercises you see in like Love Island or some shit, where they're like saying, all right, turn to your left, your other left. It's so cute. I just love them so much. Part of me just wishes they'd gotten together again, but they don't. She ends up with the white guy from the beginning.
The non-David Strathairn.
But it's happy ever after, so who cares? Everyone gets a little bit of a happy note to end with.
I'm glad I got to show you the movie.
Thank you.
And I'm glad I got to rewatch it after many years.
It was a gift.
And to be honest, like I still think the movie, the script is better than the direction, but I do think that the charms of the characters, I mean, the script, like everything that you said, were all things that like you can attribute to a great, tight,
Honestly.
$4 million script.
Yeah.
That
like,
totally makes it worth it.
this has been on my radar for years. I finally watched it, and I don't think I would have given it nearly as much of a time of day before I started writing.
Yep.
Like when you write and edit, you almost wish you could like rip those parts of your brain out of
Especially
your brain.
because it feels like you're a raw nerve when you're
Yes.
writing. So when you see really good choices being
Or
made,
really bad choices.
both sides of the coin.
It's very annoying because you're always like, oh.
Yeah.
Like you can never just watch a movie anymore. But in this case, it actually made me love it more. This is how you write. And if anyone out there wants to figure out their own action writing beat, like there's a lot in this to learn from.
Yeah. And there's nothing better than seeing like a callback, like the moment with the skates, and you went, oh, and you feel connected to the movie and the characters again, because it's like, it makes it so that you don't feel like you're falling asleep.
No, you're rewarded for paying
that's
attention.
exactly what it is. And Shane, if you ever get a chance, read a Shane Black script. It's all in there.
Totally.
A lot of times action scripts come with like, and then the chase ensues, and that's it. Here, there are so many story beat components that a lot of times is up to the director. Shane Black infuses them into the script from the get-go, and the gifts keep on coming. Hold on.
Last call!
Last call. Do you feel like these were this was a good pairing? I do. Like,
I loved the order. I can't help but see the second movie in the light of the first movie and think about how they complement each other.
Yeah.
So even talking about the two, I was like, oh, it's cool. Is that a guy you kind of get set up to enjoy the vibe of The Long Kiss Goodnight, because 8 Women makes you think about reflection and aesthetic and past selves and where we are now and what's going on with movies. And that's in a very different way, but in ultimately similar reasons. The Long Kiss Goodnight, I think, really beautifully, it was like a call and an answer almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you feel, and this I'll leave with this, do you feel like they're good Christmas movies? Because they like, the thing is with Long Kiss Goodnight, you could kind of take a lot of the Christmas elements out of it and it would still be an effective story, other than it got the people together at the party.
Well,
there's not a real, Shane Black movies sometimes have a lot hanging on the Christmas vibe, and then there's ones that it's more just background noise in a way.
So what I think Christmas gives to both of these films, for me, Christmas is a time of reflection and a time of indulgence. Both these movies are about reflection, about themselves, about each other, literally seeing reflections in the mirror.
Yep.
And they're very indulgent films.
Oh,
they're
yes.
both big and bombastic and spectacular. And I think in terms, if those are, for me, those are the two things that I think of when I think of Christmas. And so I think the backdrop of it is used, I don't think it's a whatever thing. I think it's used very well.
Yeah. I would say that 8 Women is like a delicious French fruitcake, and The Long Kiss Goodnight is a gingerbread house with a stick of dynamite in it.
Sure.
As someone who made one with Everly, graphic, of course I was very knowledgeable over the fact that you throw some of those Christmas themes in there, but throw a couple Christmas lights in there too. Someone is going to call it a Christmas movie to watch every year. And you know what? I get that. So
also, I do think adds a lot to it.
Yes.
It may be a backdrop, but it offers up the backdrop to a stage in which you're going to be able to see the themes they want to introduce more clearly than if it had been any other seasonal time.
Well put. So what do you guys think? Do you think that we made the right choice? Have you seen either one of these movies? Do you like both of these movies? Are you going to put this movie on your Christmas list? Because you should. Both of these movies are fantastic discoveries for both of us. So let us know in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe, obviously. You can also go to our Instagram, which we have the general Instagram here, or you can go to each one of our separate ones. Next week, we gotta go back from the Christmas hat to the sorting hat.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So
It's your turn.
Yep. Oh, wait. I have to do this. Ready? Why
Why am I closing my eyes?
I don't know
you
why.
You have to close your eyes.
Oh, okay. All right. So, All right, here we go. Next week's theme
Don't fuck it up.
is down, but oh, guess what? This is one of our first fan submissions.
Oh, cool.
Yes, so Brian Clancy gave us one from the comments. Thank you, Brian. Down but not out. So Brian, I will be in touch with you very soon to give
but not out.
to give you a special gift.
That's how some pregnancies end up happening. If
boy.
you know what I'm talking about. And
And
if you're a character in 8 Women or Long Kiss Goodnight, I believe you do.
Thank you guys so much again for being part of the show. I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas. Hope these two films are something that maybe you'll discover while you're on your break and you're drinking eggnog and you're, trimming the tree, if you will, and you get to watch one of these movies.
Warming the cockles
Yes.
with a couple of old fashions, either the podcast or the drink.
So give the gift of sharing and tell your friends, tell your family to watch the show. It's always great, either on podcast form or right here on YouTube. Again, like and subscribe.
Thank you to Diabolic DVD.
Of course.
And if you need any last minute DVD,
Yes,
Blu-ray,
hurry up.
Steelbook editions of gifts, make for a pretty good under tree thing.
Under tree, like under hood.
Christmas tree.
And also, don't forget that promo code, which I'm going to display right here for you. And that's it.
And happy Saint Nicolas.
Yeah. Happy holidays wherever you are.
Joyeux Noël, bonnes vacances.
Cheers. And before we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I should have learned it in French.
Oh,
It's too late now.
yeah.
It would be a Christmas miracle if I just remember it in English. Movies. They're the only marathon worth participating in, and they're what date nights are made for.
It's a Christmas miracle! Yay!
Miracle de Noël.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.